Establishing clear expectations and procedures is foundational for productive learning, effective interaction, and implementing behavioral standards. Well-planned expectations and procedures serve as a structure to help students feel that the learning environment is safe and predictable. Expectations describe goals, and procedures serve as steps to achieve them. So, it is essential to establish effective expectations and supporting procedures for students' successful learning. Expectations are often identified as academic or behavioral in nature. Academic expectations communicate the established standards regarding how students learn by interacting with the content, teacher, and their peers. Behavioral expectations are the established standards regarding students' actions within a social and technology-rich context. Procedures are the routines and practices set up to enable students to achieve the established expectations. In both face-to-face and online environments, there are some similarities in establishing expectations and procedures for engaging students, differentiating learning needs, and providing guidance. Expectations and procedures in online environments differ from face-to-face settings due to a heavy reliance on technology, different physical learning environments, and differences in parent and family support and involvement. Based on the differences and similarities, establishing expectations and procedures begins with identifying what works, adapting what partially works, and creating new expectations and procedures specifically for online environments. Establishing expectations for an online environment should include both academic and behavioral expectations. Academic expectations focus on how students interact with the instructional content and teachers during academic activities. For example, this might include how students should contact a teacher when a problem arises, exhibit academic honesty and integrity in completing coursework, and dedicate a predetermined amount of time to completing academic tasks. Also, academic expectations explain how students access, engage in, and submit learning activities. It is important to acknowledge that expectations will be different for asynchronous versus synchronous learning. It is essential to understand the differences and plan for them specifically. Behavioral expectations aim to assist students in co-creating an effective learning environment appropriate for all students. They describe how students should interact with students and technology. Behavioral expectations might include topics such as camera use during synchronous video conferencing, use of a school-issued device, and peer interactions. Once expectations have been established, it is important to support students in meeting these expectations by establishing supporting procedures and routines. These might include virtual attendance policies, school or class schedules, and routines for how to access technology tools and applications. Students benefit from consistent daily, weekly, and monthly schedules. It is important to provide these schedules to students, parents, and families and refer to them frequently in student and family communications. Procedures are also needed for interacting with the instructional content and to help students transition between class activities. During synchronous video conferencing, hand signals, attention-getting noises, or other signals can be utilized to communicate how to complete one activity and what to do to prepare for the next activity. Procedures are also needed for navigating asynchronous activities, including how to access instructional content and submit assignments. It is important to consider these guidelines when creating expectations and procedures. When possible, it is more effective to co-construct expectations and procedures with students. Enabling students as co-creators can provide a sense of buy-in and ownership that promotes their motivation. Also, it is better to focus on a few specific expectations. Creating too many or broadly constructed expectations can create an environment that feels micromanaged, vague, or stressful. Also, it is important to create expectations that convey a positive, presumptive tone. Students are often more motivated by the attached promise of positive rewards for compliance. It is important to consider how expectations and procedures will be conveyed to students and families. Designating specific time to communicate and practice expectations and procedures with students and families is helpful. It is best to post expectations and procedures in an easily accessible central location and practice them in a low-stakes, supportive environment. In a blended environment, it is useful to practice online learning expectations and procedures within the face-to-face environment where teachers are available to support students. Additional resources for expectations and procedures for online environments are available on this webpage. Resources include a printable summary, related examples, articles, blogs, infographics, and videos, and links to other related blended and online teaching hub topics.